this latest buzz of AI can be exhausting, and it could make consumers question what it is that they're engaging with and build up the wall of trust that businesses have to overcome. It does make me feel good that I leaned in with my intuition nearly 9 years ago and haven't abandoned the human centered approach that we have. Hey, I'm Brianna Régine, an award winning brand growth strategist for entrepreneurs and decision makers who feel stuck and are ready to get strategic about reaching their next level. But let's be clear. In this podcast, we ditch the highlight reel and get into the raw, real stories of what it takes to build a brand from the people making it happen. No more perfect perceptions of success, no more unrealistic expectations, no more feeling powerless. This is your go-to space for the real deal Holyfield about business growth, full of obstacles, funny stories, real talk, self-reflections, hot takes on current events, and must-have tips. If you've got a fresh idea brewing, you're a sucker for new strategies and insights, or you need to be reminded of how freaking dope you are, this podcast is for you. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's your girl, Brianna Régine, and you are tuned in to another episode of the Brand Unveiled. Happy 2026. This is actually not our first episode back this year, so that goes to show you what kind of day I've been having. Yes, the Brand Unveiled. It's real entrepreneurship over here. I had a full day of meetings, talking. My voice may go out. I don't know. Let's hope that it won't. But I'm gathering my wits. I'm staying committed. I'm showing up for you guys, and I'm showing up for myself and the consistency of this podcast. This is the first episode back where I am recording for 2026. So to be fair, this is the first episode I'm recording that's new, that wasn't in the hopper. And so I am back from the holidays. 2025, the end of it was quite a doozy. It always is at the end of the year for me. That's when I am fighting. I'm fighting because I am so tired and ready to just sleep. But at the same time, there's this internal conflict of trying to prepare and wrap up things for the upcoming year and do things that I didn't get a chance to do. Last year, I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm going to give myself grace because I know that I am equipped to tackle the new year as a wiser leader and a more efficient doer and an effective decision maker. So that's my mindset. That was my mindset in 2025, where I was like, I did all I could do. God bless. And definitely going into this year, I will say, and again, maybe this is me being hard on myself, but this year, I feel like I haven't necessarily been moving as quickly. Like the days haven't been moving very quickly, but it is a question about speed, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I have found myself definitely taking my time with how I allocate my time. I think that's more the truth. So I am transitioning out of the doom scrolling for the holiday season, but I am still coming out of the fatigue that I feel mentally, physically, and emotionally from the holiday season. But nevertheless, when you're going to a new year, whether you're moving fast or not, as long as you're moving with intention and discernment, that's where the results come in. Which brings me to the pop culture and current events segment, since we're talking about discernment and intention, and pretty much because I also mentioned doom scrolling, and I like to doom scroll on TikTok. I'm a TikTokaholic. I'm sorry. I am. Right now I'm doing a 21-day fast, so I am not consuming TikTok on the weekdays after 9 p.m. so that way I can maximize my sleep ideally without any distractions or getting caught up in my timeline. But TikTok, you guys have heard the who's going to buy it in the US, that whole ordeal, right? So TikTok avoided a US ban by restructuring its ownership into a new American led entity called TikTok USDS. And it's backed by Oracle, Silver Lake, MGX, and others. And ByteDance retains a small stake. The deal secures the app's US presence, puts data and algorithm oversight into US hands, and aims to head off national security concerns. But it also opens new questions about governance, algorithm behavior, and global influence. And yes, heart emoji. As soon as this deal was confirmed, my algorithm, my For You page started getting crazy. I started seeing the same videos over and over again. I'm still seeing the same videos over and over again. And I've noticed this shift at least for the past maybe 5 to 7 days. The app has been glitching a little bit, you know. So, like everyone else, I am wondering if TikTok will be my place of doom scrolling and spending time of escaping, but also becoming incredibly informed about current events and world issues. From a business standpoint, I do wonder how this will impact creators on the app, especially the e-commerce businesses that leverage TikTok Shop to spike up their sales. If consumers aren't consuming the app like they once were due to this deal, then business owners are going to be forced to, as they always should be, look at their marketing strategies, how they're diversifying, how they're appearing online and reaching their target audiences. And as far as the influencers go, same thing. Influencers, ever since like year 2 of my business, I believe that they can have a brand. Like outside of just content creation, you can do these brand deals, you can start your own businesses. And that is something that I've always advocated for them to have, and something that my agency, we began to facilitate services that support that through our BRBC talent department. But particularly for them and this shift, it's going to be super crucial for them of all sizes, micro, macro, everyone in between, to, I should say nano, macro, everyone in between. You got to diversify how you're reaching your target audience. You got to figure out how to continue providing value to them beyond the app that you created the initial engagement on. So just something to think about, you know, what can you do? Tomato, tomato, the world turns on. Next. All right. So the aha moment in business segment, which actually relates to technology, since we were just talking about TikTok, and it is about AI and the fatigue of AI. I was on Reddit actually, and I was surfing through the entrepreneurship section. I'm new to Reddit, so if they don't call it sections, then please give me some grace. But I was on Reddit, and there was this question about AI and how folks are navigating the AI fatigue, and if there's going to be like an anti-AI movement. And I believe that there is plausibility for that to happen. But really, it made me think about, will there be an anti-AI movement among business and consumers? I believe that AI can be helpful when it comes to automating tasks that are time consuming or costly, particularly when it comes to, let's say, minimizing having different tools that do different things. Like if you can find one tool or something that you already use, and that existing platform has upskilled their functionality to include AI features, maybe that saves you money on the additional tools you were using to do XYZ functions, right? But I also think AI can lose the human touch and the beauty that is humanness. We have seen that across content marketing for sure. Y'all have seen that damn dancing dog in the kitchen. What is that? Pissing me off. We've seen it in music, we've seen it in art. We have always seen it in customer relations, depending on the websites that you go to, for insurance or real estate. There's always maybe like a bot in the bottom right hand corner with an AI prompt. That has existed for a while, prior to sort of this recent rise of AI. But even those things, it brings up a question for me as far as like, where's the opportunity to differentiate yourself? And BRVC has always been built off of being a human-centered company in our approach, but also in our company culture. And while this latest buzz of AI can be exhausting and it could make consumers question what it is that they're engaging with and build up the wall of trust that businesses have to overcome, it does make me feel good that I leaned in with my intuition nearly 9 years ago and haven't abandoned the human centered approach that we have. But more importantly, as I always say, it has forced me to be even more intentional with my use of AI. And so I currently use AI, if this is helpful to anyone, I use it to build on my own thoughts and therefore have it prompt angles for me that maybe I haven't thought about, especially as the leader and the executive within my organization. And maybe I need to make a quick decision or I'm just ruminating on something before I take it to another group of executives. Like AI can help me think through and see things differently that maybe I haven't considered before. Sometimes it'll also validate the direction of my thinking, which I think is pretty cool. And then I'm also being intentional about using it to generate my curiosity. So I don't think there's anything wrong with AI starting the direction of a strategy, starting the direction of a piece of content, starting the direction of how to solve a personal problem, right? But that's all it should be doing. It should be the start of, it shouldn't be the final outcome of whatever is expected of you when it comes to delivery. And that's where I believe folks use it as a crutch. And that's where it can get kind of a little wonky, like even down to the AI artists and music, which is so freaking crazy to me. One can argue, well, they are using it to start the artists, the AI artists, and the lyrics and the production and, the whole gamut of what it takes to create the artist. But then it's also the final outcome. Like the final outcome is an AI generated thing. And I don't think that's okay. And it's really a question about integrity that I believe people should be intentional about and take seriously, because think of when the lights go out on Instagram and your audience particularly cares about what it is that you're doing only on Instagram. You no longer have a way to communicate with them, or you're at Instagram's mercy to wait around until you can communicate with your audience again on Instagram. I feel like it's the same concept. So just being intentional about leveraging AI and the integrity of your work, I believe is really important. So that way you don't get caught up and used to leaning on AI all of the time. And if there is a rise of an anti-AI movement, you will be on the right side of history. Boom. Next caller. All right, so on the mic consulting, where I give my insight to your business and entrepreneurship problems. So, like I said, I was on Reddit and I was searching through the entrepreneur section, and I came across this post by Kinoya, and it's titled, "I'm starting again, already secured $700 project in 2026." So let me tell you a little bit about this scenario and then my advice to Kinoya. In 2025, I lost my home and my dad, my money and my mind, and while I was drowning, my longtime competitor took my place. My savings dried up as bills kept coming. I took a job designing logos and branding, my best skill, my heart and soul. Clients loved it, tips flowed in, but my boss was never satisfied. I was never enough. His son was always the best. Then he blamed me in front of the whole office for a delay he caused by changing the scope 24 hours before delivery. I quit. I know that's right. I'm back freelancing, designing logos and brand identities. No money for marketing, no audience, no safety net. A friend sent me one lead. He loved my work so much we signed a $700 deal on the spot. It reminded me I'm not broken. I'm just early. I'm going to make it. So any advice you wish someone had given you at this stage? Kanoya, I appreciate your transparency. First piece of advice that I would give to you is the resilience and perseverance that you have displayed from the personal loss to the professional loss, and then creating opportunity for yourself and taking advantage of the lemons before you to make lemonade is something that you should continue to hone, because that's what entrepreneurship is all about. That's what freelancing is all about. So as much as you continue to hone your design skills, honing your soft skills of being resilient and persevering is going to be essential. I also would advise you to pay attention to the experience you created with the current lead that your friend sent over to you. Ask questions. They came to you and bought into what it is that you were selling for graphic design, which is great. Could you provide more value to them in other marketing ways, provided that that's something that you're interested in being a part of your wheelhouse of support you're able to provide? So how do they go about posting on social media? Who's managing their stuff? What are you even designing the graphics for? Is it for an e-commerce business? Are they trying to get more sales online? Do they make more sales in person? Are they really focusing more so on awareness? Is it a messaging issue? Like, these are questions you can start to ask yourself. Do they want to implement ads? Is it a matter of SEO? And you can therefore decide, hey, is this something that I can upsell to my current client? Because in theory, it's a lot easier to make money from a repeatable customer than getting new customers, right? So you want to see how much money, how much of a lifetime value you can create from the existing customer by asking questions to get a better idea of what else do they need, especially since they already trust you to provide the graphic design services. Promote your work, but promote your work in a transformative way. So I don't just mean post your work. I mean, post your work by also speaking to the pain points other target audiences care about. And the simplest way to do this is a before and after. So the client came to you with what problem? How did you solve it? And what was the outcome, particularly, right? Because the solution is not necessarily the deliverable. The solution is your methodology for creating that deliverable. That's the transformation. That's the bridge that you want to address. So showcase your work in a transformative way, not just saying, this is what we did for this client. Okay. There's a time and place for that. There's a mix that can exist, especially for a visual service such as yourself. Like, people are focused more so on first impressions, and scrolling and things that catch their eye. But that's also that also boils down to how you strategize the presentation of your work. And again, presenting it in a way that your audience would best receive it. So promote your work in a transformative way. Tip 4, leverage the testimonial of your current client to pitch yourself to new clients, because you need data from new clients or potential clients. You need to know how they're going to respond to you in order to better sharpen your marketing, in order to have a better understanding of your target audience, their demographics, their geographics, their psychographics, their behavioral habits. But you won't know that until you put yourself out there. So that would be my tip for number 4. And then number 5, systemize how your potential clients can work with you so your conversion process is a piece of cake. I'm not saying you need to exhaust, okay, I have a discovery call, and then I give them this form, and then I have a kickoff call for the project after they pay their invoice. Like, I'm not saying you have to exhaust all of those things, especially since you're new at figuring out what your foundational operation system is, but make a note at the very least of how easy it was to convert this client, maybe things that they called out about your onboarding process that you want to repeat. So when you are done pitching yourself or actively pitching yourself and you get interest, it's very easy to onboard client and have a positive client experience. So I hope that helps. If you or someone you know has a question that you'd like me to consult on the mic, please email info@briannarégine.com. Again, that is info@briannarégine.com. Oh, yeah. Well, y'all, that's all I got for this episode. I hope it was informative. If there was a tip that I provided to Kenoya for the On the Mic consulting that resonated with you and how you're going about scaling your business as an early stage entrepreneur or someone who may be rebranding, having to build themselves back up again with their zone of genius skill set, leave a comment. I may answer it on the next On the Mic consulting. As always, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends that this podcast is here. I want to increasingly become more transparent about entrepreneurship and what it's like. I'm approaching my 9th year doing it, and there's a lot of information out there, but boy, it can be challenging to find the information that you feel you need right now. Like, sometimes Google is too much. Sometimes TikTok is too much. And I want this to be a place where you can feel confident you're going to get the clarity on the next step that you should take towards building your brand. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.